Hi folks, today I'm going to be replacing the battery in this Droll Yankee bird feeder that's got the spinning base to prevent the squirrels from eating your food. My battery's gone bad and I've been looking at new batteries and they're like 85 bucks, but you can get a whole new feeder for like 140. So didn't understand why the battery was so expensive, so I decided to take it apart and see if I could just replace the battery itself. So the first thing you need to do is just take the battery off like you normally would do to fill the feeder. And on the underside, you've got a 10mm bolt that you have to unscrew to get at the inside of the internals of the unit. So I'm going to go ahead and take that off. All right. You've got a spring in here and a couple parts that might go flying, so be careful with that. You've got your base, and take the whole battery out. Watch out for this little piece, which is a little bumper guard for the micro switch. And here you go, here's your battery. So this thing they want $85 for. Well, it's actually more than a battery. It's actually the motor that causes the spin. It includes this micro switch here that engages the motor, and it's got the charging port. So there's a lot going on here, so that's why it's more than what a battery would cost. So I look and show you what's inside. But first thing you need to do is you need to unscrew these small Phillips head screws. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 screws. Then you need to cut the label there. It says warning, don't open. So I promptly ignored that. But anyway, let's open her up. Okay, so I've loosened all those screws, and I took an X-Acto knife and cut along that seam so that I could take this whole lid off. Let's see if I can get this off with so that you don't lose these screws when you take this off. So there you go. They're all off, and this is what the inside looks like. Okay, so there's your motor, your battery, and your connections, and the charging port. If you look at this battery, it's a lithium-ion battery. There are the specs on it. I Googled that item and found it at select battery warehouse places that wanted, around $15, plus they wanted like $15 to ship. But after a little bit of searching, I found it on Amazon. I'll put a link down below on this item. I think it was $7.99. So here's what it looks like out of the box. It comes with a little cable, little clip to charge. So next step is going to be remove this and replace it with this. So care must be taken that you select the right battery, because the dimensions of the battery and the internal are very, very tight. So you might be tempted to get a bigger battery, but it will not fit. I'm going to go ahead and clip the leads on this battery and try not to short anything out. I'm going to leave enough room. Okay, battery's removed, positive and negative, old battery. Set that to the side. Here's the new battery. The connectors I'm going to use look like this. There's 2 different sizes. Here's the bigger size. I'm going to try to use the white ones if I can, but it's all going to depend on the gauge of the wire. Okay, so I've gone ahead and connected up the black to the black and the red to the red. Using the white connectors do work. The center of that little tube is a piece of solder, so you have to heat up those 2 wires with a soldering gun and wait for that little metal ring to melt, and that'll fuse the wires together. It's important you don't twist the wires. You leave the stranded wire just open so the little individual wires can interweave with each other. So I'm going to go ahead and get the heat gun out and give her a go. So my heat gun doesn't have a backing to prevent the heat from dispersing, so I've put a little wedge here to protect the unit from overheating. So I'm going to go ahead and fire this up and see if I can get these guys to melt. You can see that. color. And we'll get a good seal. So I'm gonna lay off the heat there so I don't melt everything. Looks like I did put a little bit too much heat on there, but I think it'll be okay. We'll let that cool for a minute and then we'll test it and see if we've got a good connection. So before I put it back together, it's cooled, but before I put it back together, I just want to make sure it's connected properly. Here's your micro switch that controls the motor. I'm just going to trigger that manually to see we've got a good current flow and a really strong motor pull. So new battery's doing its job. And now I'm going to assemble it in reverse order the way I took it apart. Okay, I put the case back on. Carefully made sure I didn't pinch the wires. So I'm just going to screw the case back together. We'll have a new battery that costs $7.99, not $80. So let me finish this up and I'll show you the final assembly. Okay, to reassemble, you put the spring in first. Make sure it's sitting upright. You drop in the battery itself, lining up the pivot here. Make sure that rubber piece is in there properly. And you've got the of the unit, see that? You should feel that spring. And then, all right, give me a second. So now you just need to assemble the base with the ring assembly on it. And okay, so you got your washer, your base there, the spring is in there, you've got the play. So then you just tighten it up with your 10mm socket, hold it, and final step will be to test it. And let's get this switch on. Oh, baby, that is powerful. Oh, the squirrels are going to be flying. All right, there's your $8 or $7.99 fix versus your $80 replacement of the battery unit. All right, good luck and happy birding.